I am Kavita from Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So today I am going to speak on operating system and my topic is CPU scheduling. So what is CPU scheduling? Why do we need CPU scheduling? So consider we have a single process system. So in single process system, your process, there will be only one process and the one process will be allocated to a CPU. So CPU is going to process that or complete the task of that process, and then it is going to be allocated to the next process. So this is the case with single process system. We don't have any problem with that. In case of multi-process system, we have too many processes opting for CPU. So in that case, what happens? How your CPU is going to utilize or complete the task of the process that is going to come. So that is why we need CPU scheduling. So in CPU scheduling, we have the aim of the CPU scheduling is to efficiently use the CPU. So our resource is very limited, like we have only one CPU or we have limited memory space, cost. So having all these in mind, having all the limited resources, our motive is to efficiently utilize all these resources. So coming to process, so whenever a process is going to execute in a CPU, it is going to have two cycles. It is going to undergo two cycles. One is I/O burst, another one is CPU burst. So CPU burst is nothing but the execution of the process in the CPU. I/O burst is it is the waiting time of the process. The process is going to wait for some I/O operation or it is going to do some I/O operation. So these are the two cycles we have in a CPU. So this is the sequence of the cycle of a process. So when a process enters, it is going to start with the CPU burst. It is going to execute. And then the process is going to wait for some I/O operation to complete its task. So it is going to undergo an I/O burst. And then again it is going for a CPU burst and it goes for the I/O burst then. So this is the entire cycle of a process. It keeps on changing from CPU burst, I/O burst, CPU burst and I/O burst and it goes on. So coming to CPU scheduler. So now the CPU scheduler comes into picture. So why a CPU scheduler is needed? So when we say we have multiple processes which is competing for a CPU, then we need a scheduler who is going to select the process and allocate the CPU for that process. And for this purpose we need a CPU scheduler. So where are these CPU scheduler plays a role? So it is going to play a role when a process switches from running state to waiting state. That is, when a process is in a running state, it is going to wait in a ready queue for some I/O operation to complete. So in that case, your CPU scheduler needs to take a decision and then switches from running state to ready state. So when a CPU runs, it is going to wait in a ready queue because some other process with higher priority may enter the CPU and then it may switch from waiting to ready state. So it has completed its I/O operation in the waiting state and again to off the CPU it goes for the ready queue. So in these situations your CPU scheduler needs to take a decision. So that is when we are going to see some CPU scheduling criteria. So CPU scheduling criteria has first come first served algorithm and then shortest job scheduling decision, priority scheduling, round robin scheduling, multi-level queue scheduling, multi-level feedback queue scheduling. So these are some of the decisions or these are some of the algorithms that your CPU scheduler should take to allocate the to decide what algorithm has to be used to allocate the CPU to a process. So first come first served scheduling. So this is nothing but as your process enters the ready queue. So in the order it arrives, you are going to allocate the CPU to that process. So consider you have 4 processes. So process 1 comes first, process 2 comes second, process 3 comes next. So subsequently it comes. So the process which arrives at 0th time will be allocated the CPU first. So we will see an example for that. So here you have 3 processes. And the first process all the 3 processes arrives at 0th interval time, which means all processes came at same time. So here burst time is nothing but execution time of that process. So P1 is going to execute for 24 milliseconds and P2 is going to execute for 3 milliseconds and P3 is going to execute for another 3 milliseconds. So I am going to draw a Gantt chart based on the algorithm first come first serve. So when all the process arrives at 0th arrival time, I am going to take the order in the order of the process ID. So process ID 1 first and then 2 and then 3. So I am drawing a Gantt chart in which I am allocating the CPU to process P1 and I am allocating the CPU for 24 milliseconds. And then I am allocating the process CPU to the process P2 and it is going to execute for another 3 milliseconds. And then process P3 will execute for another 3 milliseconds. So here we are going to calculate the waiting time and turnaround time. So what is waiting time? So here you have a process P1, P2, P3. So P1 as it arrives, we have given the CPU here, right? And then here P2 and P3 is waiting till P1 completes its process. So the waiting time of P2 is 24 milliseconds, whereas the waiting time of P3 is 27 milliseconds. So waiting time is nothing but the process has arrived at some time, but it is waiting for the CPU. So that CPU time, that acquiring time of the CPU, you say waiting time. And then you also have turnaround time. Turnaround time is nothing but the process would have gone at some time. It would have emerged at some time. But the time the CPU is allocated to it is called the turnaround time. Next one is shortest job first. So shortest job first is you have multiple process. So every process will be having some burst time. So the burst time, the CPU is allocated to the process which is having the shortest burst time. So the algorithm is like this, and we have a process, all the process will be placed in the ready queue in such a way that shortest job, the process which is having the shortest job will be allocated the CPU first. So here we have two things, one is preemptive and non-preemptive. Preemptive is not, non-preemptive is nothing but, so once the CPU is allocated to a process, the CPU will never be taken from that process. So till the process completes its execution, it holds the CPU. Whereas in case of preemptive, your CPU will be preempted to some other process before its completion. So these are two things which we should have in mind before we go with this algorithm. And next one is priority scheduling. So priority scheduling is nothing but, so this algorithm is based on priority of the process. Likewise, we saw for shortest job first, the CPU is allocated for the process having shortest burst time. Whereas here, the CPU is allocated to the process which is having highest priority. So your process will be having multiple priority level, like a process may, and the priority will be based on like user importance or based on the cost, resource. So based on that, a priority level will be set for the process. So according to the priority level, the CPU is going to be allocated for that process. Whatever the process comes, it should be placed in the Gantt chart such that the highest priority process will be placed at the head of the queue and the lowest priority process will be placed at the tail of the queue. So here we say preemption and non-preemption. So non-preemption is nothing but, so the process once allocated to the first highest priority task will never be taken out from the process till its completion. So in a preemptive thing, so when before its completion, if some other highest priority comes, your CPU will be preempted from that process and gives to some other process. That is your preemptive scheduling or priority scheduling. And finally, we have round robin scheduling. So in round robin scheduling, here it works as the first come first serve scheduling. But only thing is, here your CPU will be given to all the process in a circular manner or in a sequential manner, but for particular time quantum. For example, if we say your time quantum is set for 2 milliseconds, then your CPU will be allocated to the first process till 2 milliseconds. After 2 milliseconds, whether it has completed or not, your CPU will be shifted or preempted to next process. So that is the case with your round robin scheduling.